Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending my presentation at Global Azure Verona 2021. My name is Luis Beltran, and today I'm going to talk about developing a serverless WhatsApp chatbot. I hope that you are enjoying the event. Thank you to all organizers for gathering speakers from all over the world. There are some live sessions, there are some others which you might find interesting. So we appreciate you. And also thanks to the audience that is present today. So let's get started with our topic. First of all, I will introduce myself. My name is Luis. I am a Mexican Microsoft MVP, currently living in Czech Republic. I am pursuing my PhD in artificial intelligence. And well, here you have my contact details. I will upload today's code for this presentation to GitHub. So yeah, you can check that one later. If you are interested in talking about mobile applications, Microsoft.NET, artificial intelligence, and cloud, yeah, let's talk, let's chat. You can follow me on Twitter. So, okay, this is the agenda, the topics that we are going to discuss today. Each of them contribute to the development of a conversational agent through one of the most widely used communication channels in the world, such as WhatsApp. So we will briefly discuss what are chatbots. Then we will talk about a technology that you can use as the foundation for developing these conversational agents. Then we will talk about WhatsApp, but also there are some specific versions or requirements that we need in order to create a chatbot. Two technologies that will help us to deliver this kind of solution are the Twilio APIs and Azure Functions. So we will see how to combine everything that I just mentioned in the demo. I invite you to ask any questions that you might have through the presentation. Please do it in the chat. I will do my best to answer them while I explain these topics. So our first concept that we are going to discuss is chatbots, conversational agents. I believe that most of us have interact with intelligent, smart software. There are a lot of artificial intelligence applications that help us nowadays to solve some issues or make our life easier. Chatbots are one example of this. They emulate a conversation between humans or with humans actually by using natural language. So maybe we can be deceived and believe that we are talking to a person, but actually we are having a conversation with a software, with a program. The idea is that the bot will use the same ways that we have to interact with us, such as using language, words that are common. They will type some text, they will display information in the same way that humans would do, in maybe in a website, or by using a channel such as Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp. Yes. And they are considered a powerful advanced expression of interaction between machines and humans. They can even talk. They use a language, English, Spanish, the same way we would do it with another person. If the other person speaks or the same language, we can communicate. So chatbots are similar. They actually, how do they work? Well, let's say that we have a requirement. We would like to add 10 euros. We would like to add this in credit on our SIM card. So we state the following sentence. I would like to put 10 euro on the SIM card of telephone number 390-555-5555. If we talk to another person, let's say a salesperson, and we inform them about what we need, they will understand us. They process, their brain process the message, and they identify what I need, and the person understands the context. Like, okay, I need 10 euro, the amount, also the phone number. So they build an answer like, okay, you can pay, then you will get the service. Chatbots are the same. They, by using artificial intelligence techniques, they understand this text. They process, they analyze it, and detect an intent. Maybe there is a pool of intents, possibilities that users can choose from. And in this case, the chatbot detects, okay, the person wants to buy telephone credit. And there is complementary information, such as there is a phone number, specific, and there is a particular amount of credit that the user wants to add or charge for the phone. So these are known as intent, what the user wants, and entities, what context, what elements can be used to prepare a reply. By getting the entities, actually, remember please that this is software. So with the entities, they can interact to other systems such as an API. They can send a request, or they can search in the database according to this data and include the result or make a decision for the answer. And of course, this communication process is interactive. It is not only one message. Maybe there is a flow of messages. So one message after another, and they are being processed. So since they are software, they are capable of combining millions, thousands of data, not only from one source, but many. They are available every time, everywhere, all day long. They can be integrated into almost any platform. You can have chatbots in, let's say, electronic devices, in smartphones, such as in Alexa or as Google Assistant or even on Windows 10. Also, popular channels such as Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Telegram, and others, even Teams, Microsoft Teams as well. So the main idea behind chatbots is that they help us to build better user experiences and keep the human effort to a minimum. An additional advantage is that people, employees for instance, can uh, be, let's say, useful in other activities that are part of the business, especially if the task that the chatbot solves is repetitive and simple. Let's talk about an example. In a customer center call, most of the time there is a person answering the phone and the customers might require some support, like, okay, my computer is not working, please can you help me? Then the support might start acquiring some information, gathering some data. Okay, have you turned on the computer? Have you checked the cable? And other questions. But now imagine that from 50 requests every day, 40 are more or less the same, like 80%. So they might be um, useful in other activities which might help them or also the company. So why not leave this repetitive task to a program that recognizes customers' messages and tries to guide them in order to find a solution to the for the support. So yes, chatbots are ideal for these scenarios. Then the employee can be working in something else. But this doesn't mean that the chatbot will solve everything. Sometimes there are complex cases, scenarios that the chatbot cannot recognize, or after following some steps, there is no solution or not known solution for this requirement. In those cases, you can hand off to a human, but these are very particular. Rather than 50 cases every day, maybe the support will help in 4, 5, which are not common. In these cases, where after the bot couldn't find a suitable solution, okay, it's turn of the human. They will try to find some solution by applying maybe special scenarios, special steps that are not so common. And yeah, maybe the human finds the solution for a problem that is not um, repetitive or is not too common. This knowledge, how the solution was found for this new scenario or not so common problem, can also be integrated or learned by the bot. So the next time it happens, there is it will know, okay, in my database, I know how to solve this, and then the guide is provided. This is the same that we as humans do. We learn from our mistakes. And well, sometimes the bot will not leap immediately to the human, like, okay, it's now turn of the human, they will solve the problem. Yes, of course, they will take the control, the human will take the control and will try to find a solution for the customer's issue. But the chatbot might be there still trying to help the assistant, and it will provide some recommendations, something that might be helpful for this task. So this handoff to human can be complete or supervised. So now that we know what are chatbots, let's talk about Luis. Well, yeah, no, not me, but the service, language understanding intelligent service. This is one of the cognitive services solutions offered by Azure and is based on natural language processing. So it means that it analyzes text in order to understand it and find relevant information from it. Luis is used or integrated with bots, so the chatbots can send the user's message to this service. Then it will detect intent and entities. We will talk about that in the next slide. But the main idea behind Luis is that you don't need to be an AI expert to start using this service. And it is easily integrated because it exposes an API that we can use to send requests, not only for the prediction, but also for the machine learning part, because this Luis service is based on training. You provide examples, sentences, they are called utterances. So they are sentences in English and Spanish, it depends. Let's take this example. Turn on the lights for the kitchen. This is one way to give some instruction. So we can consider that the intent, what the user wants, is to turn some light. But maybe in house there are many lights. Okay, so where or which type of lights? Okay, the ones that are found in the kitchen. So the entity can be the room. Maybe another possibility, another example could be it is too dark here. So yeah, you might consider, okay, so if it is dark, the intent is the same. You need to turn the lights on. And the entity would be here. And where is here? Well, maybe you can connect to or get some GPS, some position to know where is the user. In the bedroom, living room, in the garden. Yeah. And well, you can think about some other possibilities, some other examples for the same intent. So you create these intents, book hotel, you create entities such as the location, the date, what so some context, some places maybe. After that, you provide some utterances to your service, such as, okay, if I want to book a hotel, what messages can the users mm, write, type, talk for that purpose? Okay, this is one example. Book a hotel in Seattle. Make a reservation in Chicago, and so on. You identify the entities, so the bot will learn some rules. This is known as supervised learning. You provide the information. This is an entity. This is the intent, and so on. After you provide enough entities, intents, and examples, utterances, you can train your model and you can test it to check if it is working or not. This is repetitive, so you can refine the model. You can make some adjustments. You can provide more examples. And after you consider that it is precise enough, you can publish it. So it can be consumed by other applications, any from any language, C Sharp, Java, JavaScript, Python, whatever you want. Here you see some examples. You see the Luis website. We will show it or display it in a second. So yeah, the idea is that you might test your model and you will get like, okay, which are the details about this sentence? What is the top scoring intent that was detected? Was there any entity or not? So yeah, I think we can describe our first part of our application. So in this case, you can see Luis' website. I have several applications. The website is luis.ai, by the way. So my application is WeatherBot. And you can see I have a couple of intents, get city weather and known. I will describe get city weather. In this case, but before that, I have also created an entity. This entity is a geography version 2. This one is already pre-built. So it understands uh, geographical data such as a location, a country, a city, river, town, whatever you want, places basically. And then I go to the intent. The intent gets city weather. And for this, I have already provided some examples. What people can use in order uh, to to understand that they want to know about the weather from some place. So they can ask maybe, okay, is it snowing in Seattle right now? What is the current climate in Cortázar? Is it raining in London? Yes. What's the weather in San Francisco? So you don't not only write or type these utterances from the get city weather intent, you also identify, okay, this is a place, this is also a place, and so on. They are detected as entities. So we continue doing this. And after we think, okay, or we consider, okay, this is enough, let's test it. Yes. Well, first, sorry, before we test it, yeah, we have to train it, right? In order to create a model. Right now, I have already created it, so I will not type this, but I can test. And for testing, usually you would write something that is not in your examples in order to check if it is correct or precise or not. So I will type something that is not here, such as what is the weather in Prague? By the way, you can, of course, you can use Prague or London or any city, but this is just an example. I might even use something different, maybe Rome. Verona, yeah, let's do Verona. Enter. And this testing, you see, with 84%, it says, okay, the get city weather intent was detected. And if we inspect, we will find that the entity Verona was detected as a geography version 2. Yes, this is our entity. Actually, this, what you see, it's a JSON. And after we publish, yeah, because after we test and determine, okay, this is correct, let's publish it. When we publish it, we will obtain an endpoint and also a key that we can use in order to send requests. Yes. So we get a primary key, but this primary key is actually integrated here in this endpoint. So this information, I can make a request, test request. So for instance, I have used the browser, and you can see from my URL, yes, I copy and paste it here, but at the end, you have a query parameter. Yes, this last URL ends with query, and your query goes here. Right. So what's my query? Okay, what is the weather in Verona? And we will get this JSON content. Well, this is the JSON content, but I'm using an extension, so that's why you see it beautiful, let's say. So you see the top intent is get city weather with a score 92%. By the way, why do you see 92% and 80% here? If you remember, there was a difference. It's because this training model is different from the published one. I have added several examples, but I have not published it yet. I mean, with the latest utterances. So this is the previous one, which, as you can see, gets better results. Okay, so what's important here is that from this JSON, I can reconstruct objects in other languages, such as C# or Java. The relevant data is, of course, the geography, Verona, and the get city, where I can later make some decisions in our code. But actually, why am I interested in the place? Because with the place, I can add this information to maybe to get some valuable data, such as maybe accessing a weather API. I am using openweathermap.org. They have an API service, both free and with a cost, but the free service is enough for this demo. I am using the current weather data. Okay, yeah, this is the free usage. So I am using this in order to get climate information. Yes, all I need is the place of the country that I want to get. So, for instance, yes, you see api.openweathermap and then the address. And if we provide the name with the application ID or API key, we will obtain JSON information. So we can even do it. Let's make a test. So let's, oh, sorry. Yeah. Let's prepare this. Let's say that we use Verona and the application ID is we get the API key. Okay, API key, and this is mine. So if I use this, I get this JSON information about weather. Yeah, it is clear sky, and also the temperature, which is 87. But this is sorry, this is in Kelvin scale, so we can convert it to Celsius or some other degree. Yeah, but we get the information about this city. So you can see how we are going to connect the dots. The chatbot can, okay, we might have a platform such as WhatsApp. We will send a message. This message will be analyzed by Luis. Luis will detect the city and also, of course, the intent. I want to know what's the weather in a specific place. And this value, this city, will be used by the Open Weather Map API in order to retrieve this information. Then this in turn will be sent back to the user by using the same channel, WhatsApp. Okay. So let's talk about WhatsApp. Here, just the slides from what I just showed you in Luis Porta and the weather API. So let's talk about WhatsApp. Just briefly. So WhatsApp, it's an instant messaging application for smartphones. It's, of course, free. It's cross-platform. It is available in Android, iOS, even there is a web version and desktop program. You can send photos, videos, text messages. You can receive audio and video calls. But the most important thing is that there are two versions available, Messenger and Business. We might have interact only with the Messenger version, which is free. But there is also the business part, which is free, yes, but it is focused or particularly designed for businesses, for companies, for small and medium size, you can say. The idea is that as a business, you can create a product catalog that then your customers will see when they contact you. In order to speed up the communication with your clients, you can also prepare a set of, let's say, messages or options for the users. So instead of typing, they will just choose from the menu and you will get a message, you will get a notification what they selected. So yeah, this is helpful for some companies. Of course, we know that WhatsApp is widely used. There are over 2 billion users nowadays. and at least half of them are active. Every day, over 100 billion messages are sent through WhatsApp. So this is important because it is telling us that this tool, this channel is relevant. And if you want to create a software that interacts with your users, you can use the WhatsApp Business API. So in this channel, you will be able not only to send data, to send messages, text or video to your customers. You can also get their messages that they are sending to you. And of course, you can analyze them, maybe connect them to a bot. So it understands, it processes the text and prepares an answer for them. But here is the catch. You need a contract with a Facebook partner in order to get access to the API, because WhatsApp API is not open source or is not public. So what can we do if we would like to create a solution that interacts with WhatsApp? Well, we can subscribe to some of these partners from Facebook and WhatsApp. Luckily for us, one of these partners is Twilio, which is a company that provides cloud communication services exposed by API in platforms. So the formal definition for this company, Twilio, is that they are a cloud communications platform as a service. The main idea is that by using a language, writing some code in PHP, Ruby, C#, developers can send text messages to another phone number. Or you can also create applications that send voice messages, or that two people interact through a video call and record it, and do whatever you want. Also, you can buy a virtual number in order to send messages to users, let's say marketing messages. But most important for our topic is that you can also use these APIs in order to send and receive WhatsApp messages. This is basically the process. How does it work? The server can send or prepare some information to the user, which in turns might prepare an answer, type some other text in response. Again, the server gets the idea, gets the message, it analyzes it, and prepares another response. But this response will be sent by the program in a TWIML response. This is a format that if we want to send some message, it will not be plain text. It will be under this standard or particular, actually, format. But we don't have to worry at all about it because, well, as I said, you can use C# or the APIs in order to easily work with this. So the Twilio API for WhatsApp, the specific one, it allows you to access the WhatsApp Business API. It is very simple. You only need a few lines of code. You can even work with a sandbox environment. So in case you don't want to uh, pay, right? I mean, when you are testing the product, you can use a sandbox. And as we mentioned a bit earlier, this API is available in several platforms, several programming languages. So let's now explore the Twilio API. You can start free, actually. It gives you some credits that you can use in order to test the service. So I am already inside the Twilio console. As you can see, there are some services such as SMS, there is also voice, and others. I have already entered into programmable messaging, and I have selected try WhatsApp. And we can use this part in order to interact with a virtual number. So here we get this instruction. Okay, send a message, a specific message, join close basic to this phone number. If WhatsApp is installed, of course, um, it will start listening to whatever you type. So let me show you. Just give me a second. Okay. So, but I want to show you my phone. Okay. So here you see my device, and I have already the WhatsApp. Yeah, this one. So it says that I need to send a message. This is already the phone number. You see this 523. Yes, this is the one. It's already registered. So let's send the message. Join close basic. And it says, yeah, you are all set. Okay, yeah, maybe this page was too old. So, okay, yeah, it says message received. So now I can test the rest of the console, of the possibilities, but I will not do that yet. Right? I will not test this send one or two-way messaging. I will actually configure my sandbox. But here at the beginning, this is empty. I mean, this you will see some text boxes. Okay, it's a bit slow, but this is what will be displayed. When a message comes from the user, what will happen? How it is going to be processed? Okay, yes, yeah, this one. What, let's say, webhook or what endpoint will analyze user messages, right? At the beginning, as I said, this one is empty. So if I type something, yes, the bot will say nothing, or WhatsApp will say nothing. But yeah, I want WhatsApp to understand my messages, right? So we have explored three parts right now. We have WhatsApp, we have the current weather API, and we have Luis. How these messages, how WhatsApp can understand or send messages to Luis, right? So for that, let's move to our final part, right? Which is Azure functions. But yeah, you can see that later we are going to use very simple code to send a message back to the user, right? We only need to prepare WhatsApp message, right? And then we can send it. So in order to process and connect everything, we are going to work with Azure functions. So just one second. Okay, Azure functions. What is Azure functions? This is the foundation of serverless computing. You can write some code that will be executed by a server, but it is called serverless. I mean, Azure Functions is serverless because you don't worry about administering this server. So that's the abstraction of server concepts. The code will be executed once something happens. So it is event driven. Also, the cost is really low because you are only billed by the amount of time that your code executes. Your code will be hosted in a server, right? But you are not billed by that. You are billed only by the amount of time that it takes to process something. So let's say if we send one message to our code and it takes half a second, we will only be charged by that half a second. So it is inexpensive actually. Yes, it's very cheap. And well, there are also some other advantages. You don't have to worry about administering any server. So basically, your code works or is executed after something happens. And these are called triggers. Maybe a new file appears in your blob storage. Maybe you have a mobile application, you have created a mobile application where users can take a photo. Then you provide a button to send this to the cloud, maybe to a blob storage. And you have created an Azure function that triggers once a new file arrives to this blob storage. Then this Azure function receives the file. It has a reference to that new file, and it will respond to that event. How? Well, maybe you write the code needed in order to create 3 new blobs in another container. But these 3 new blobs or images are reduced versions of the image, or escalated, maybe a larger version, shorter version, whatever you want. It's your code, you decide, it's up to you. So yeah, you can see that there is an automatization here because the user just sent the photo, but everything after that was automatically executed. because we, of course, program or we configure the function to trigger once the file is new in this blob storage. And there are also other triggers. The most common one is the HTTP trigger, which is executed when we make a request to this endpoint. Basically, it works as an API. And every data, such as the file that is arriving to your blob storage, or the, let's say, table that is being modified in Cosmos DB or in table storage, they are called bindings. These reduce the code that you write because you have a direct access to that binding in order to work with that data. You will see in a second. Yes, so basically here you can see these are the bindings. The bindings is like some image. So this image is actually a parameter in our code. We don't have to connect or add a particular SDK to get the file, the blob, just with the binding, because of course we have a reference, we have a connection string, right? Well, this is a variable, but it contains the connection string. So we have the reference, and this is an input binding because we read the value. There are also output parameters or bindings, which are used to write information. We might also have some reference to the file name. Yes, so both the content, because as you can see, this is a byte array, and this is a file name, the string. And the code is, okay, let's resize this new picture into these specific dimensions. Very short code. So now let's demonstrate this Azure function, because in the end we are going to need a function URL, and this URL is the one that you provide to WhatsApp actually, because you want to execute some code on demand. So it has to be an HTTP trigger once a new message appears in the WhatsApp chat, right? So yes, this is actually, you can see, this is my Azure function. This code executes or receives a WhatsApp message. The first part are just the models, the classes, right? The Luis classes, right? Because this is the connection basically of everything. Also the Open Weather Map classes from the API. And well, also at the beginning, I had the Twilio TwiML namespace from Twilio library. And after that, yeah, you can see this is an HTTP trigger. We get a message with the HTTP request. And well, I just remove special characters, right? And this message, this data, we get the value and we evaluate it. Yeah, we get the text. This evaluate message function basically sends the message to Luis. This is the same URL that you saw earlier where we sent a query, right? What's the weather in Prague? or what's the weather in Verona or whatever. So we connect, yes, and after that we look for the get city weather intent along with the entity, the city or geography version 2 entity. If we um, get the city, we will be able to send this request to Open Weather Map API the same way we did it earlier, right? When we obtained this data. So that's the idea. We are going to receive this, right? As I said earlier, I convert the temperature to Celsius degrees and we prepare a response. Weather of the city is clouds, rain, snow, whatever we get. But this message, right? This, as you can see, this returns a string. Right? Well, then with that message, we prepare a response. And this response is a 2ml message because WhatsApp doesn't understand simple text. It has to be in this format, right? Well, not WhatsApp, but the API from Twilio, right? And after that, we send back, and WhatsApp will understand that, or the API will understand this. Right? And as I said, we get the function URL, which is this one, right? This is the one. And we are going to put this here. When a message comes in, execute this. And we are sending a post request. Yes. And the code will automatically be executed. So let's demonstrate it. In this case, you will see my WhatsApp, and I will ask, what is the weather in Verona? Then, after a few seconds, the weather of Verona is clear, 1 Celsius degree. How is the climate in Mexico City? Weather of Mexico City is clouds, and then the temperature. So yeah, basically this is our chatbot interacting with the user. Of course, this knowledge, this artificial intelligence should be used for the good. I mean, we should not use it to, let's say, bomb our users with thousands of messages. Uh, Maybe some people is not comfortable talking to a machine. So always in our solutions, we should give the option to transfer to a human if the user wants it. The data that we receive from users, we should inform them what we do with it. It should be private. It should be stored in some security storage, right? Or security place, database maybe, protected, if we do it. If we don't store anything, okay, that's fine. We should be responsible of the usage of this knowledge. And everything contributes to the responsible artificial intelligence application. So yeah, I encourage you to do this. Yes, it is good to use uh, or develop chatbots or artificial intelligence agents for your business. That is fine, but just let's say play fair. Okay. So if you want to learn how to create this, the code will be available on GitHub, but also I have written a blog post that you can find in this link, dev2, where you can see everything in action and step by step. I have also written a blog post, but this one, the first one is in English, the second one is in Spanish. But I don't think it will be difficult to translate or to understand it. Thank you for your time. Keep enjoying the event. And please, let's be in touch in case I can help you with anything regarding this uh, session or something related with mobile, cloud technology, or artificial intelligence. Enjoy the rest of the event. Have a nice day and see you later. Goodbye.